playing?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone,
Shabbat Shalom.
and welcome to the Temple's Reproductive Rights Shabbat. This is a very special Shabbat. We read this Shabbat from the Torah, the scroll of the covenant between God and the people of Israel, and it's filled with laws that establish what kind of a religious and a social society we ought to be. Among them, very important laws that defend the stranger and the orphan and the widow and everyone that needs defendants in our midst. Laws that are telling us not to incline ourselves always with the majority or with the crowd, because that can actually create evil, and always be true to ourselves. And also laws that establish when does human life begin. In our sacred scriptures from the book of Exodus till modern rabbinical responsa, life begins at birth. This corpus of so many laws is actually an example that encourages us to ask ourselves, when we see laws that are established, what is the purpose of each one of those laws? Are they here to defend the weaker part of our society? Are they here to establish the way we relate to one another? Or, as sometimes happens, are they here to show who's the boss? And when it comes to the laws that try to establish reproductive rights and abortion rights in our state, in our country, we should always ask ourselves, are they here to defend human rights, or are they here to show who has the power to insert power even on someone else's body? We begin our service as we sing together, Hinei Ma Tov U'ma Na'im. It's in our handouts in the first page. How good and how pleasant it is to be here together.
Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad.
We turn to page 2 for the lighting of the candles. I would like to invite Beth and Mike Solomon to lead us with the blessing over the candles and the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Please join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Turn to page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
And we turn to page 20 to sing together Lecha Dodi.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat likavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat likavela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat likavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat likavela. Shachor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, V'shevel tiferet v'liti la 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 l'chad dodi, Likrat likrat kala, Penei penei Shabbat likavela. Lecha l'chad dodi, Likrat likrat kala, Penei penei Shabbat likavela. Verse 9 as we welcome our seventh bride. Louie v'shalom ateret bala, Kam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Tochem ulei yom segula, Mo'ichala, Mo'ichala. La 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 l'chad dodi, Likrat likrat kala, Penei penei Shabbat likavela. Lecha lecha dodi, Likrat likrat kala, Penei penei Shabbat likavela. La 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 l'chad dodi, Likrat likrat kala, Penei penei Shabbat likavela. Lecha lecha dodi, Likrat likrat kala, Penei penei Shabbat likavela.
We rise for the Baruch Hu, which appears on the handouts, at the second part in the handouts.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
And we read together on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch Ata Adonai, Amariv Aravim.
Your song sheet. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Day turns to day, day turns to night.
Turn to page 34 for the calling of the Shema. Be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise.
And we turn to page 40 to sing together Mi Chamocha. We turn to page 43 and we read together at the bottom of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch Ata Adonai, הפורס סוכת שלום, עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
On page 44, we find two texts. We find Vishamru and we find Yismethu. Every Shabbat, we take this moment and usually we sing Yismethu, rejoicing in happiness that we are moving into elevated time together. Tonight, we join in its sister prayer, Vishamru. While Yismechu specifically speaks to our rejoicing in these sacred hours of Shabbat, Vishamru reminds us that we are guardians of this holy time. When we dwell in this elevated time and allow God to be at our center, we allow God's presence to dwell more fully in the world. Shabbat reminds us that there is something greater than ourselves that we are working towards. Tonight, despite our setback yesterday in the Kentucky Supreme Court, let these words and melody elevate the voices of all who have come before us, seeking equality, equity, inclusion, and basic human reproductive rights. As we enter this moment perhaps a bit weary and fractured, may we leave it more whole, together, with renewed strength and passion. Please join with me, page 44. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. בני ובני ישראל, אותי לעולם. בני ובני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם.
Please rise for the tefillah on page 46.
Adonai sefati tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Ha'chol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah.
We continue together on page 50. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You cause the wind to shift and rain to fall. You sustain life through love, giving life to all. Through great compassion, supporting the falling, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up, and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated as we turn to page 60 to sing together Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha,
take a moment for a silent prayer. Turn to page 253 for the Misha Berach, the prayer for courage and healing and strength. We name in our hearts those we know that need courage and strength and healing as we sing together Misha Berach. It's an honor and a pleasure to welcome our special guest speaker who came here especially for our reproductive rights Shabbat. Heather Gatnarek is a senior staff attorney for the ACLU of Kentucky, and she's representing the Women's Surgical Center and Planned Parenthood in their state lawsuit challenging 2 extreme abortion bans. Thank you for being here, and thank you for coming to speak with us.
Thank you, Rabbi, and the community here at the temple for having me tonight. I'm incredibly grateful to be with you all on this special Shabbat and to talk with you about this important issue. I'm tearing up because this is a very difficult time for us, as you all well know, and I'm not sure I've expressed my tears yet about our decision yesterday, but I ask for your forgiveness if I'm a little emotional tonight, and I really am honored to be spending this evening with you. I was asked to speak with you all tonight about our ongoing litigation for abortion access and our work more generally for reproductive justice. The first of these, of course, is incredibly timely, as we just received a devastating and very frustrating opinion in one of our cases yesterday, which unfortunately leaves abortion unavailable in the state of Kentucky while the litigation continues. But this is only the most recent development in years of abortion litigation in federal court in particular that has been taking place over about the last 6 years. Weeks after I joined the ACLU in March of 2017, we had a hearing in a case that challenged a law requiring the abortion providers to perform a mandatory ultrasound on each and every patient and provide certain information to each and every patient, whether they wanted to hear it or not. My third week on the job, we filed a lawsuit challenging the requirement that abortion clinics have a signed transport and transfer agreement with a local ambulance company and a local hospital. That case was fast-tracked through discovery and went to trial just 6 months later. The next legislative session in 2018, we filed a lawsuit challenging a law that would have banned or prohibited the most common second trimester abortion procedure, which is called a D&E. That case went to trial that November. And the year after that, we challenged 2 laws that came out of the Kentucky General Assembly, a 6-week ban and a ban on abortion based on the patient's reason for the procedure. Last year, we challenged House Bill 3, which was passed by the legislature and was a quagmire of a 72-page omnibus bill that contained a ban on abortion after 15 weeks, in addition to a multitude of new requirements, programs, forms, regulations, you name it, it was in there. Most of these cases went to hearings, trials, appeals up to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. A very small procedural issue in that D&E case went up to the U.S. Supreme Court last term. And for the most part, we won our cases, but that was in a world where Roe v. Wade was still the law of the land. Of course, everybody knows that everything changed when the Supreme Court decided the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health case last June. That case reversed Roe v. Wade and removed the right to an abortion under the federal Constitution, which had acted as the underpinning for most of our federal lawsuits. In light of that devastating decision, which came down on a Friday, we brought a case that following Monday in Kentucky state courts, arguing that abortion, even if no longer protected by the federal Constitution, is protected by the Kentucky state Constitution's rights to privacy and self-determination. Despite early success last summer, those bans were allowed to go into effect by an appellate court order last August, and unfortunately, given the Supreme Court's order yesterday, those bans remain in place for the time being. We are still figuring out the next steps in the case and determining what the future of the litigation might be. But we're committed to this fight because we know just how critical it is for Kentuckians' health, well-being, and self-autonomy. Of course, we all know that people seek abortions for countless varied reasons. Some people seek abortions because it's the best decision for them and the children they already have at home. Nearly 2/3 of abortion patients are already parents to children. Some seek abortions because they are not ready to be parents at all. Some seek abortions because of health conditions that may require it. Others so that they can begin treatments for conditions like cancer. Some seek abortions if their pregnancies were the result of rape or sexual assault, and of course, all of these reasons are valid and justified, and people should be able to access abortions without having to travel far out of state at great expense and hardship. And these are the reasons that we have to try to do everything we can to restore access in Kentucky. But of course, reproductive justice is about so much more than just abortion access. As I'm sure folks here know, reproductive justice was conceived by Black women and women of color in the mid-1990s. And it's about the human right to control our sexuality, our gender, our work, and our reproduction. It's about having the complete economic, social, and political power and resources to make healthy decisions about our bodies, our families, and our communities. It's about the right to have children, to not have children, and to nurture the children we do have in a safe and healthy environment. While the legal team has been wrapped up in lawsuit after lawsuit over these years, my colleagues at the ACLU of Kentucky work tirelessly in the state legislature and between each legislative session to push these reproductive justice issues forward. Outside their defensive work on abortion access, which we all know has been under extreme attack for years, my colleagues are out there fighting for incarcerated pregnant people to be treated with dignity, for parental leave policies that allow all people, including those with low incomes, to spend needed time with newborns or adopted children at home, for policies that will address and mitigate the maternal health crisis in our state, for doulas to receive Medicaid reimbursement, and a number of other policies that further reproductive justice. It's really incredible work, and if you're not yet familiar with all that advocacy work, I encourage you to follow them. They're really doing just a tremendous job. And in addition to all that work in the legislature, my colleagues have created the Breaking Barriers Council, which is a group of experts and advocates from around Kentucky working to reduce racial disparities in maternal and infant health and improve outcomes for all Kentuckians. No matter what happens with our work for abortion access, the panoply of reproductive justice policies that we fight for will always remain paramount and necessary. I'm proud to work for an organization that prioritizes and values the lives and the lived experiences of women, of Black, Indigenous, and people of color, of LGBTQ men, women, and children, Kentuckians that are marginalized and brutalized by policies coming out of our state legislature, and prejudices that are stoked by fearmongers. These fights aren't easy, which is an understatement, I suppose. It's exhausting, and it's distressing, and it's upsetting. Days like yesterday and like June 24th when Roe was overturned put into stark relief just how much more work we have to do. And through my time in this space over the past 6 years that I've been with the ACLU, I've had the opportunity to learn just how varied people's motivations are to fight for reproductive justice and freedom. People come to this work for reasons secular and religious, personal and community-based. Of course, the Jewish tradition that I've had the benefit of learning about is unique in its expressed support for reproductive choice. But even beyond the Jewish teachings, I've come to know people whose faith traditions are Christian-based and whose own faith motivates their support for and dedication to abortion access. As the folks in this room and watching on the live stream know, perhaps more than anyone, religious belief is not a monolith and cannot be monopolized by only the loudest or most persistent voices in the General Assembly. I'm grateful that the Jewish community is such a strong ally in this work. With community allies, like those here at the Temple, and in the greater Jewish community in Louisville and in Kentucky, highlighting these issues during Repro, Shabbat, and throughout the year. This is a fight that we will continue to wage, and I'm grateful for all of you to be allies in that fight, for your support, and to be with you here tonight. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you so much. The gift there, if you wonder, is Kentucky bourbon that looks necessary after yesterday. That is also a Jewish tradition.
It's my body, it's my soul, no one else's but my role to decide what will be right. I will protect my precious life. Pikuach nefesh, pikuach nefesh, pikuach nefesh. I have a right to save life. If you think that you know better, if you think you really do, I will gladly go walking barefoot so you can walk a mile in my shoes. I have a right to save a life. I have a right to save a life.
Please rise as we turn to page 283 for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit kedula li'yotzer bereshit, shehu sam chelkenu li'ached et shemo, v'gor aleinu l'hamlich malachuto, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, mochei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'chaya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember especially Jose Maza, Henry Berg Brousseau, William Benovitz, Armand Essing, Carol Fink, Harriet Jean Winner, Charles Droutman, Melanie Lederman, Nathan Levine, Evelyn Van Dam, David Boss, Philip Cochran, Ilma Hirsch, Ruth Shapiro, Deborah M. Herman, Herbert Levine, Terry Lasson, Minx Auerbach, David Davis, Florence Schenkin, Harry Ziegert, Sophie Friedman, Dr. Herbert S. Waller, Francis Wolfson, and in recent days, Alan Zukov. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own, with the blessed memories, from our loved ones in our hearts. We rise as we turn to page 294 to read together the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה, may the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction to us all. Amen. Our closing song is Oseh Shalom, the last words of the Kaddish on page 294.
Oseh Shalom Yiroma, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru Oseh Shalom Biroma, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru Amen.
So while Oseh Shalom traditionally asks for peace and wellness and wholeness for the people of Israel, the Navati Ilah that Cantor used to end with asks for everyone in the world to be living under Shalom, under peace and wellness and wholeness, and we should say to that a big amen. I would like to thank again our wonderful guest speaker. You are fighting a fight that we are all behind you, and we will always be behind that fight with the ACLU and I don't know what your title exactly is, Corey, but I know that it's an important one there. So together with our friend and member Corey Shapiro, and we had here Aaron Kemper, who is also petitioning for that, together with some members of our temple, and let's hope that we will live to see soon in our time that justice will prevail and women and everyone will have the rights that they deserve to live in dignity and to live in shalom. Please say Shabbat Shalom to someone you never met before, and please enjoy the oneg, the desserts that the women of Reform Judaism prepare for us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.